Hit wonder is a group or singer that has only one hit record. Typically, after one of their earliest songs blows up, one-hit wonders find it hard to follow up with a record impressive or catchy enough to maintain that hype, which typically results in them falling off right after. So today we're going to be looking into 5 one-hit wonders and seeing what they're up to nowadays. Starting off with CJ and his hit song Whoopty. Real quick, I just want to explain my criteria for these one-hit wonders, which is an artist that has a hit, a song that at least went platinum, and then doesn't have a song come even close to that, like not even having a song go gold. Also, if you're new here, my name is Manny Balls. I'm going to be posting a video every Sunday at 12 p.m. CST, so if you like music, make sure to...
Full disclosure, I don't think that's a one-hit wonder. I think like a one-hit wonder is when you keep rapping, when you keep going, and like you just can't get a hit. Like if you made a hit and you just chilling and you don't want to rap no more, then you're not a one-hit wonder. Like if these people just on some lazy shit, then that's different. But if you keep going and then you're not making more hits, then that's a one-hit wonder, in my opinion.
Stick around and subscribe. Now let's get into it.
I saw some movie.
CJ is a rapper who many know for his song Whoopty, and literally nothing else. People literally refer to him as CJ, parentheses Whoopty, because they don't know any other songs from him. So CJ began his rap career as a kid and started posting music to YouTube and SoundCloud when he was just 14 years old. He released a handful of songs over the years and saw a little buzz after he likely paid for a 6ix9ine feature for the song Pop in 2018.
So that's what I'm saying. That's my story. People think that the Whoopty song was my first song that I ever made and I just blew up. Nah, you gotta do your research. I gotta do your homework. I've been doing this for years, 10 years plus. I just happened to create Whoopty and it happened to be the song that blew up.
But other than that little bit of information, he was relatively unknown and hardly had much music out. Until of
So he falls under that category. So that's a one-hit wonder. But it's one-hit wonder is not a bad thing. It's just you had one major song. You one of them artists that had like one major song. It's a lot of artists that's still up to this day. Like Vanilla Ice, he had one hit song, and he's still wow. And to me, he's still chilling. I haven't heard anything about him.
Of course, he released his drill song Whoopty in July of 2020. This song was a smash hit, blowing up on YouTube and TikTok. It featured a catchy hook and a sample that had already been used by drill legend Pop Smoke, King Von, FBG Duck, and more. The YouTube video has over 400...
That song never grew on me. Like it was not one time I was singing that, rapping that song. That song never grew on me. Like I don't even see the comparison to like Pop Smoke and all that. That song never grew on me. And for some reason, it never grew on me.
150 million views, and the song itself went 2 times platinum. Shortly after the virality of this song, he signed a deal with Warner Records. He followed up Whoopty with the song Bop, which did alright.
Let me ask you, all these songs that be going like platinum and stuff like that, it's more so because of like streams and all that right now. Do y'all think these songs would have survived like back in the day when people really had to go buy the albums and go buy songs on like iTunes or like really request them on the radio and stuff like that? Because it's easy for a song to get a stream. Like anybody can just like come across a song, test it out, hear it out. Do that really mean like they really wanted to buy the song or they just wanted to hear it? Like back in the day, people wanted to hear like Jay-Z and Nas and stuff like that. Like they really went outside to go buy them albums when they was coming out. But like if a song like this came out back in the day, I don't see anyone like going out to search for it to get it, in my opinion.
And then released his album Loyalty Over Royalty, which did not perform well at all when compared to his previous hit. With single after single, CJ was struggling to replicate the success he saw with Whoopty until he eventually parted ways with Warner Records.
We had our differences with the label and, we decided to part ways. I'm gonna leave it at that.
But I do want to clarify, a lot of people who aren't doing so hot like to rephrase being dropped by their label as parting ways or having disagreements. It's very possible that CJ was dropped. Hello Yassine even claimed that he was dropped, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. Regardless, things started going downhill for CJ for a couple of reasons. One of the main reasons that he couldn't replicate his success was because he just jumped on a trend. A Reddit user explained fairly well why Whoopty blew up like it did and why he couldn't create a hit like it again. They said, Whoopty came out 2020, months after Pop Smoke died. Keeping it a grand, after Pop Smoke died, people were desperate for another drill star. That's why that shit plus Dusty Locane's shit got millions of views quick, and that was their first songs. After Pop...
I don't think that's why that song blew up. That song don't sound nothing like what Pop Smoke was sing or rap. It was just a lot of catchy shit was coming out at that time. Like, I don't see the comparison with that and Pop Smoke songs.
Smoke died, one of the most popular drill artists, there was a huge longing for more hard-hitting, aggressive drill songs, and people began trying to fill that void. Whoopty was literally made off a Pop Smoke type beat, so it's pretty obvious what market CJ was trying to dip his toes into. It was actually his first drill song. There was also another controversy going on with CJ where many people were accusing him of being a fake gangster. I'm not going to go too much into detail about this, but a lot of people lost respect for CJ because of this.
Because like I said, I ain't want to get pigeonholed. I caught myself getting too deep into that drill shit. And I'm like, yo, I gotta remember, I'm not a drill artist, bro. Like, I'm over here beefing with drill rappers and this and that about the drill music. So I'm like, yo, bro, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm sitting here, like, pigeonholing myself into this little circle. Meanwhile, there's a whole world and a whole other genre out there, you know what I'm saying, that I could be working with. So that's why I just started just doing my own thing.
On the comments of that interview with DJ Academics, people were saying things like, he basically realized he isn't about that life and he regrets riding the drill wave, and problem with rap is you can't be fake street. Once it's exposed,
whether he realized he wasn't about that life or not, he's telling the truth. Why box yourself in as an artist to only making them kind of songs? You ain't gonna sell out arenas making songs like that. You ain't gonna be an international star selling songs like that. So you got that hit, so move on. I feel like everyone just want to keep duplicating the same stuff over and over and over. Like, if that song hit, like, don't expect another song to follow in that footstep, in that direction. That was just like a in the mood type song.
it's over. He's basically the Spanish Slim Jesus. Since all of this went down, CJ hasn't released any music of his own since January of 2023. He hasn't posted on Instagram since then, other than a few IG stories here and there. So for now, it looks like CJ has gone MIA. He does have a very young career though, so the chance of him making a comeback is definitely possible, but with how much people just dislike him or straight up forgot about him, it's pretty unlikely.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
Masked Wolf is an artist whose name you probably don't even recognize, but I promise you've heard his viral TikTok song Astronaut in the Ocean, so I think that sums this up pretty well. Masked Wolf is an Australian artist who has actually been putting out music for a long time. He started playing instruments as a kid and writing songs when he was 13. However, it wasn't until 2018, when he was 27 years old, that he signed to Teamwork Records and released his first official single, Speed Racer. He quickly followed that up with the song Astronaut in the Ocean in 2019, but it didn't blow up back then. It took a handful more singles for Masked Wolf to get signed to the US-based record label Elektra Records in 2021. After signing to Elektra, he re-released Astronaut in the Ocean and it went super viral. It hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and eventually went 2 times platinum. TikTok was a huge aid in this song's virality, along with pretty much every other social media.
How do you re-release a song? Like, it's the same song. People heard it already. Like, how do you re-release it? Like, maybe I should study like music business and stuff like that, because I don't get how you can re-release a song someone already heard and then it takes off even further.
platform.
You may have heard these lyrics repeated again and again and again and again and again and again and again in various places across the internet. It is a track that seemingly you can't really escape from right now.
However, one of the main reasons the song was so viral was because, in part, this song was a pretty big meme. A lot of people did like it, don't get me wrong, but there was definitely some meminess to it in the general music community. I mean, one of the top comments on the song's music video is, "I heard this song in my dreams for about 10 minutes straight, but then I remembered I had YouTube Shorts playing in the background and forgot to turn off my phone." I think that emphasizes...
Now, this is a song I definitely heard. I haven't heard the whole thing, but that first part of the song, I probably hear it till this day, probably like two or three times, like if I'm scrolling on Instagram or something like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, is these songs hits because of streaming? Like, you're gonna hear them, people use them on their reels and stuff like that. But is people actually like bumping these songs in their car or listening to it while they work out? Or like, I don't see that. I don't be seeing people or hearing people say, "Yo, turn on that astronaut in the ocean." Like, I more so see people using it like for a reel or something like that because it's a streaming song. So
this song gets its infamy. Hive Mind even had it in their worst songs of all time bracket, so that's gotta say something.
Song where he says like, "I rock with G-O-D, don't rock with T-H-O-T.
No.
Yeah, he said he loves God and he doesn't like thought. I don't know if those are the exact words, but he definitely spells out G-O-D and then right away spells out T-H-O-T. It's like usually God and the devil are raging inside you, but then for him it's God and thoughts.
Yeah, hey, Masked Wolf is awesome. And this song, honestly, this song's only grown on me over time.
Fair.
So the fact that so many people hated this song or at least didn't take it seriously really didn't help Masked Wolf's future career. He followed up Astronaut in the Ocean with a few singles and then his debut studio album, Astronomical. But those songs did not perform nearly as well as his hit single did. Like I've emphasized throughout this video, it's hard to live up to that success no matter who you are, but it's especially difficult when you're relatively unknown. Masked Wolf said that he was a big rap fan growing up and was really inspired by artists like Kendrick, so he wanted to be like them. But he said Astronaut in the Ocean wasn't received as seriously as a song from someone like Kendrick would be, so his label wanted him to do something different. He said his label had him going different routes, trying to...
That's a common thing you hear, like artists say. They want to go one direction, but the label want to go another way. Like, how do you compromise your dreams? Like, do you want to be an artist so bad that you just forfeit everything you stand on and just make something that pleases someone else? Or do you just sit back and chill and just say, look, forget the fame, forget what y'all saying. This is my type of music, this is how I feel, this is what I want to put out. Well, I always thought about that. Like, once you blow up and then now you're forced to make songs you don't really necessarily agree with,
recreate a hit, and it wasn't working out. So him and his label parted ways and he went independent.
You're independent now, right? Does that mean that you fulfilled your contract with Elektra, or did you part ways amicably?
We mutually part.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. It was on both sides. However people want to take that or whatever that means, go for it. But at the end of the day, I'm not bound to them. They are not bound to me.
The way he said it also makes it seem like it's possible he was dropped, but who knows. Regardless, Masked Wolf is now independent and trying to keep putting out music that is fulfilling to him. He seems fully aware of the situation he's in. He knows that...
Just said that. Right, at least he definitely man enough to want to do music his way.
Astronaut in the Ocean was a big TikTok song, and that it's important that people know him rather than just the first few lines from the song that blew up on TikTok. And just like CJ, his career is young, so who knows where it could go from here. Trinidad James is a rapper that's best known for his song All...
Listen, if you was outside when this song dropped, this song and the remix, it don't even matter if he's a one-hit wonder. This song solidified him. It don't even matter if it wasn't even lyrical. This song was fire when it came out. Fire. They played this everywhere. Everywhere.
Gold Everything from 2012, but by 2018 he had admitted on the No Jumper podcast that he had fallen off. Things happened pretty quick for Trinidad James. He began looking at beats and writing lyrics after high school, and in 2011 he started rapping. He got invited to a studio session, but didn't like the quality of the studio he was in, so he invested in a premium studio session in which he recorded his song All Gold Everything. He released it as his debut single in 2012, and it went viral. He also released his debut album Don't Be Safe, but that paled in comparison to the success of All Gold Everything. The single peaked at 36 on the Billboard Hot 100, and like many of the other songs on this list, it went platinum. And when an artist has a hit song like this, the labels come calling. He quickly signed to Def Jam for a $2 million deal. In early 2013, the song got a remix with T.I., Young Jeezy, and 2 Chainz. Also, fun.
That remix was so fire. It's crazy because that kind of song, you wouldn't even expect them rappers on that song. And all three of them had crazy verses. They bodied that song.
Fact that you probably already know or maybe didn't notice, but Bruno Mars interpolated All Gold Everything on his song Uptown Funk. Trinidad's career was going very well. He started collaborating with other artists like Logic, Gucci Mane, Wale, and most notably A$AP Ferg on the Work remix alongside French Montana, A$AP Rocky, and Schoolboy Q. And I guess I broke my rule here a little bit because this song also went platinum, and he did have another one go gold. Also in 2013, Trinidad James made the XXL freshman class, which was a pretty big deal at the time, although his cypher was a bit underwhelming. In 2014, he released his second project, 10-Piece Mild, with features from artists like Sci-Hi, Travis Scott, Danny Brown, Rich Homie Quan, Gucci Mane, Childish Gambino, and more. Despite the massive feature lineup, this album didn't perform super well.
I didn't even hear about this album, but that feature lineup is crazy. That's a nice feature lineup for your second album.
Received mixed reviews, and afterwards Trinidad didn't release music for a while. Around this time he was dropped by his label, which he announced in a tweet by saying, "I should tell y'all, I got dropped from my label. My album is now free. If you hear your beat or verse on it, I hope you want dap because I got no money." Which I gotta say I respect because like we've seen other people possibly do on this list, a lot of people tend to lie when they're dropped by their label. He was also in some hot water for some comments he made about New York and had a little bit of a beef with Charlemagne, but that didn't seem to be the main reason his career began to decline. Some people thought it was, but he didn't fully agree with that take either.
Right. So when I went back and looked at that New York situation, I look at that as like, oh damn, y'all got to just see an angry black man talking this shit. And you get to learn that if you allow social...
I don't remember the situation. What had happened? He said something about New York, like the whole New York?
media to tell your narrative, like I talked about just to say that earlier, a second ago, or whatever, then you
But what's cool about Trinidad James' story is how he was able to turn that negative into a positive. He didn't stop releasing music, created his own label, Gold Gang Records, and also had a handful of industry connections that he was able to utilize. He continued releasing music with people like Offset, Lil Dicky, Young Thug, and many more. His music never got nearly as close to the success of All Gold Everything, but he was able to use his skills to make other big moves in the industry. For example, he did some writing on Bad Baby's High Bit, which was a huge song, and he also featured in Childish Gambino's screenplay, Clapping for the Wrong Reasons. He also guest starred on an episode of Full Size Run, a sneaker podcast on Complex, and he eventually began working with them regularly.
It just kind of popped up, bro. Like I did this show as a guest, and then my accountant was like, "Hey, bro, maybe you should go up there and do the show." And I was like, I don't need that money. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about the money. I wasn't thinking like how I need to think, which is like business.
It seemed to work out well since Trinidad was a pretty big fashion guy. He's also just been posting a ton of content on YouTube outside of music videos, so it really does seem like he's still having fun and keeping himself busy. And his latest music is actually pretty good. He's been tapped in with the music industry and really just seems like a cool guy having fun with his music.
I don't even know what to say about this one because I don't think this artist really took music serious. Like you can tell when some artists just probably just like playing around in the studio or just trying to make like a quick dance song because they about to go to a party or something. They just want a dance song like for everybody to vibe to. Like I wouldn't consider him a one-hit wonder. Like I don't think he's chasing another one of these songs. Like once again, this was like one of them songs in the moment where, all right, let's make something we can vibe to, like something we can party to. Like this was a vibe song. I don't consider him an artist that was chasing like a longevity, long career of hits.
Silento is probably the best example of a one-hit wonder, because after creating the viral hit song and dance with Watch Me, he fell off the map and later ended up in jail for murder. So Silento began his career in 8th grade, working with small producers making music and posting it online. Eventually, when he was a junior in high school, he found a guy named Bolo the producer and made a song that he knew would be a hit. He started getting in contact with promotion companies and eventually signed with Capitol Records as they believed in the hit potential of this song. Capitol Records wanted to try a new campaign leveraging the popularity of songs that encouraged the listeners to do a unique dance, which was really popular at the time. Then they released the song Watch Me with Nene. After being released on January 6th of 2015, as I'm sure you all know, this song and dance became the biggest thing in the world. Watch Me went 6 times platinum and has about 2 billion views on YouTube. And if you weren't there,
6 times platinum, 2 billion views on YouTube. Like when people making these songs, I don't even think like they can fathom like the fact that, oh, this gonna be the one that's gonna take off, this gonna be the one that's gonna blow up. I don't know. I never been in a studio to really tell like if someone can tell if it's a hit. I'm not an A&R. Someone can tell like this is a hit or they can make a hit, but to think of a song to be that big, I don't think they can fathom that.
at the time, everyone was doing this dance. Even old white dudes on the news were doing it.
Watch me whip, whip, watch me nay. All right. Watch me. See? Feels very awkward, doesn't it?
The song remained in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 for over 6 weeks, and for a brief period of time, Silento was on top of the world. But unfortunately, it is extremely hard to live up to what Silento did. Watch Me wasn't popular because he was necessarily a good artist or because it was a good song, but because it was a fun song accompanied with a fun dance, which is nearly impossible to replicate. So Silento's career began to decline. In 2018, he followed up with his debut album Fresh Out of High School, in which most songs didn't even crack 100,000 plays on Spotify. Understandably, Silento had been dealing with some mental health issues during this time. He grew up in Stone Mountain, Georgia, a small town with a big drug problem. He even claimed that he was born with a bunch of drugs in his...
I think for some of these artists, like there was no no artist development. Like you get on, you put out a tough song, and then think because you put out a tough song, you can just drop an album. Like some of these artists probably don't even know how to make a song. Like if you got a machine behind you, of course you can do a lot, but the artists themselves probably don't have the intelligence to make a song on their own. So I can only imagine waiting for a label to push you or back you up with some money, because to be a real artist, you gotta have a drive, you gotta have ambition. Like
system.
I was born with weed, coke, heroin, pills.
I wouldn't follow a hit though. If I made a hit, I wouldn't even put it on a pedestal. Because once you put it on a pedestal, that's when you start losing. Like you gotta just, like how Lil Wayne used to do. When Wayne found out that he sold $1 million on that tour bus, he was still recording more songs. He just act like that it was nothing. Like that's what you gotta do. Just keep going.
All type of drugs in my system. I saw family members talking to walls. I watched family members fight. I watch family members try to kill each other. Nobody should have to watch that.
Combine all that trauma with knowing that you can never live up to the viral hit song you made, knowing that your 15 minutes of fame are over, and it makes sense why he began to spiral downward. He was actually dropped by Capitol Records before his debut album even released, once they had finished milking as much money as they could from Watch Me with merch, tours, concerts, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I was 17, but I'm 20 now, and you know, the deal I had, I got it terminated. I got a release. I got away from that situation. I'm working on me a new situation right now. And yeah.
Well, he may have acted like everything was cool on the outside. On the inside, it wasn't. He talked about his mental health issues in 2019 on the advice of his publicist.
How much money do you make off a song going 6 times platinum and getting 1 billion streams? That's the real question, because if these be such big hits, people don't be looking like they got paid from them.
Chanel Hudson. She said that she noticed a decline in his mental health when he started missing important TV appearances and attributed it to how often he was traveling around the world and performing. Apparently, he even tried taking his own life after the pandemic hit, which was followed by an even further spiral downward. He was put in jail twice in California for domestic violence and gun charges, and was later arrested for speeding, going over 140 miles per hour. Then Silento hit the lowest of lows when he caught a murder charge. In 2021, Silento was indicted for malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and the possession of a firearm while committing a felony. He was accused of killing his cousin, Frederick Rooks. There is very little info on this case, and I don't think he's been sentenced yet, but in 2021, he did release an album called Bars Behind Bars, in which most songs didn't even crack 10,000 plays on Spotify. Other than a leaked jail photo, there is no information surrounding Silento's whereabouts lately, but I think it's
Yeah, but fame like hitting a lotto, man. For some your life can go some way. For some, your life can go to a downward spiral, man. Fame, everyone can't handle fame.
safe to assume he's awaiting trial. Please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about this and there's more information. I just threw these guys on the list because I thought it was funny, but I'm sure some of you have won.
I don't even know who that is, so I ain't even gonna listen to that one. But everyone else, yeah, I gave my point of view on them.